Hello everybody! This month I am participating in the 90s pop culture readathon that's taking place for the entire month of July. I will leave a link to the creators down below. I didn't upload a TBR video because so much of my channel in the past year has just been TBR videos for readathons. So I was like, you know what, we're just gonna jump in and vlog it. So my goal for this readathon is to read as much as I can. I'm hoping to hit 2 bingos, so read 8 books, but we will see what happens. So the bingo board I'm going to be using for this round is the Teen Dream one. I'm gonna be starting off with that very first column that starts off with Cher Horowitz and goes straight down. My first 4 books are all gonna be there. Today is July 1st. One of the challenges in that row is to read a sapphic romance, and for this I was going to read the final volume of Paper Girls volume 6, because I thought it would be a really fast read and I can finish it today and get started on a good start to the readathon with 1 book down. And then the other book I plan on starting today is Winter by Marissa Meyer. This is for read a book that intimidates you. This book intimidates me immensely. That is why I have not read it yet, and it came out years ago. And I just realized I'm filming this without a microphone. But anyway, that's my current goal right now. I have other books planned for that row, but we will get to them when I finish others. The thing with Winter is that I also have the audiobook for this, so I'm going to start listening to that today. I'm just going to try and get through as much as I can with flipping between audiobook and physically reading it. But yeah, that's where I'm at with reading. I've been reading a lot lately. There are a lot of videos I want to film and upload, so hopefully later this week I have the opportunity to do that. But yeah, that's where I'm at with this. So hopefully by the next time I update this, I will have finished Paper Girls. So last night I finally finished reading Paper Girls Volume 6. I started this July 1st, it's now July 4th, so it took me a few days to read it. This edition was so anticlimactic. It's the final edition, by the way. There will not be any more Paper Girls volumes after this. This was so anticlimactic and just so disappointing. As someone who has been a fan of this series for years, who has hyped it up, I think the lowest rating I've given a volume in this series is 4 stars. Like, they've all been on my favorites list of the year, they've been on my honorable mentions. This volume was so disappointing. The beginning had a lot of potential. Like, the girls were split up, you didn't know what was happening, and then all of a sudden it was like neatly wrapped up in a bow and finished. Like, boom, 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 done. Hello? I didn't think that a series as epic as this one is would wrap up within like 2 seconds, but it did. I don't know what rating to give it. Like, I'm in between giving it like 3, 3.5, or 2.5 stars because it was so anticlimactic. And I am 250 pages into Winter by Marissa Meyer. Now, I have not read the Lunar Chronicles since middle school. So it's been quite a few years since I've been in this world and I've been in this series. So I'm kind of like having to relearn and like remember the stuff that happened in the previous books. But you know, it's all coming back to me, you know, slowly but surely. My goal for this book is to read 50 to 100 pages per day. I'm now on page 250, so we're making some pretty good progress, I would say. The audiobook helps a ton. It's just so weird, like, revisiting these characters because I was in this world before and I know who these people are, but it's weird kind of revisiting them when I'm older because I'm like, oh, they're not who I remembered them as. I'm enjoying it so far. Stuff's going well. I imagine I'll probably give it like 4 stars when this ends. It doesn't feel slow, but maybe that's because I'm listening to the audiobook. Like, I thought a book this big, it looks like it's 500 pages, but in reality it's like over 800 pages. Like, we're in Queen of Air and Darkness territory with this book. I don't know, I'm actually genuinely surprised by this because part of why I've put off reading this is that people say it's not as good as the other books in the series. But so far I'm really enjoying it. Like, I definitely like this a lot more than Cinder. Cinder, I think I gave 3 stars. Winter as a character, she's kind of crazy, which I had heard stuff before because this book came out like 5 years ago. I had heard stuff before where people are like, oh, like, reading Winter, it's crazy because she's crazy. And I didn't really like process that, but reading this, I'm like, we need to get you some help. But you know, no one has talked about this series since Winter came out, so I'm a little like, oh no, is it gonna pull a Game of Thrones? Like, people talk about it, and then it ends and you hear nothing. I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion or not because no one talks about this series anymore, but like, Winter's love interest kind of like creeps me out. Okay, so all the love interests in this series have like these like cool names. Like, you have Kai and you have Thorn, and then you have Wolf, and then you have Jason. So far, he kind of like creeps me out. Like, I don't know if we can trust him or not, and I can't remember him in the previous books. I genuinely don't know if I can trust him. So the next book I'm actually going to start reading is Alex Approximately. I took the cover off, so there you go. This is the next book I'm going to start reading. So on the bingo board, I'm reading this for Cher Horowitz, which is Read a Book with a Clueless Character. And I chose this one because this is kind of like a You've Got Mail retelling. Well, I don't know what to say retelling, but it kind of pulls on that trope where, you know, you're talking to someone online, but they do play a significant role in real life. And it's kind of like your enemies in real life, but online you're not, because they don't realize, like, they're each other. I'm making no sense, but I chose Alex Approximately for Read a Clueless Character. And then on my bingo board, I have one book down. I have the Sapphic Romance spot done. So yay, bingo board, check off list. So I have one book done so far for that row. And then the other book I have in that column, Read an Enemies to Lovers romance, or read a book with an enemies to lovers romance. And for that one, I plan on reading The Wicked King, but I don't want to start that one until I finished Winter because I don't want to have two fantasy worlds going on in my brain at once. You feel me? If I read Winter and The Wicked King at the same time, my mind will confuse it and I'll think that there are fairies on Luna and cyborgs in Fairy. So yeah, that's where I'm at. See you in the next clip. Lip balm's important, kids. So last night I finally finished reading Winter by Marissa Meyer. I gave it 4 stars. I had an absolute blast reading it. I was very pleasantly surprised by it because I have been putting off reading this book for so long simply because the length intimidated me. Obviously, I'm reading this for read a book that intimidated you. I was not disappointed at all. It was so much fun revisiting the characters. It was a lot of fun having to like relearn the magic system and how that worked. The one thing that kind of bugged me about the story was Winter and Jason's character arc. I personally had a very difficult time connecting to Winter and to her story, and with Jason, I just didn't care for him at all. Plus, his name is like Jason. That's like the equivalent of Kyle. I did have a newfound appreciation for Scarlet in this book. She's a character who was always kind of just there for me. Like, I didn't not like her, but I didn't like love her. And in this book, I grew to love her. Cress, I've adored since she appeared on page in Cress. Cinder's character really grew on me in this book too, which was really surprising. I don't remember a lot of my thoughts on each of the characters back when I read it, so going into it, it was very pleasant. It was a very nice, nostalgic return to this world. I plan on reading This is the Wicked King. I plan on reading The Wicked King next because after reading Winter, I need another fantasy book because I was either going to read this or Alex Approximately, but I'm like so pumped to read The Wicked King right now. It's kind of insane. Yesterday, I actually set up an Overdrive account, so I have the Wicked King audiobook, which is super cool. I've never used this app before, and I'm really excited to kind of figure it out and hopefully use it more in the future because it's a pretty cool app. Like, you get free audiobooks and ebooks. I've been wanting to pick this up. Finishing Winter just put me in the mood for it. I meant to film this clip yesterday, but I didn't. So yesterday, I finished The Wicked King, and I see why so many people like this series now. Like, I finally get it. Because this book, I definitely love a lot more than The Cruel Prince. The Cruel Prince for me, like right now where I imagine it, it's kind of like an honorable mention this year. This is a favorite, hands down. It was so well written, so well executed. The Cruel Prince for me, like the plot was a little slow and a little boring because it was very repetitive. But this, y'all Y'all, everyone who hyped up this book was right. I stand corrected. The audiobook really helped listening to this. I like half read, half listened to the audiobook for The Cruel Prince. I basically audiobooked the entire thing for The Wicked King. This is going to be my last week reading for this readathon. When it gets to the reading rush, I want to focus in on those books, and then when that's over, I'm gonna need like a cool down. Like I'm gonna need to bury myself in a Cassandra Clare length book to just invest all my time in, because I've been reading so much lately and it's been so much fun. The reading rush is always, I'm like 20 pages into this book and I'm already kind of like unsure about everything. Like so far the main character isn't my favorite, but I'm only 20 pages in. Like character development should hopefully take more than 20 pages. The one thing I do really like about this book is the fact that each chapter starts off with a quote from a movie. I don't know why, but I always appreciate when authors do that. Another thing that I did not know is Alex is not at all the name of the protagonist. This whole time I thought Alex was like her pseudonym that she went by online. I keep holding this up as if you guys know it's Alex approximately. Hopefully the next time I update you I will be like halfway through this or I'll be done with it. This is it, y'all. Last book. Here we go. So today is technically the first day of the reading rush, so I'm gonna put a pause on finishing Alex Approximately. I did not finish it this weekend like I hoped to. So I'm gonna hold off on that, and then when I finish all my reading rush books, I'm going to jump right back into it, because technically the pop culture readathon goes for the entire month of July and the reading rush ends the 26th, which leaves me like 5 days to read it, and I can probably finish it within 5 days. The thing with Alex Approximately is that it's just not holding my attention the way I wanted it to, and I don't know why. It's kind of a mix of the characters and kind of the slow burn plot. It's just not holding my attention the way I wanted to, and the other part of it is the fact that I am re-listening to Lord of Shadows right now because I didn't have an audiobook for Alex Approximately, and I always like keep an audiobook on me at all times. It's just one of the things I do. So I've been re-listening to Lord of Shadows, and I've honestly been more invested in re-listening to that story that I've already read than actually reading Alex Approximately. I'm gonna go on a little side note here, but the thing with Lord of Shadows is I've forgotten so much of what happened in that book that rereading it honestly is like reading it for the first time, and I'm having such a blast rereading it because there's so many different things that I just completely missed and like different details I forgot about, and being able to immerse myself back in this world years after I originally read it. And when I read Lord of Shadows, I remember thinking it was boring, but I'm re-listening to it now like, how did I think this book was boring? Because it's not. It's so good. But anyway, I will finish Alex Approximately and get back to this vlog after the reading rush is over. So today is Monday, July 27th. It's obviously at the end of the day. I mentioned in my previous clip that I was going to take the week off to participate in the reading rush. Let's just say that the reading rush did not go over well because I was really busy last week. I was originally going to upload like a week-long vlog. Then yesterday all this stuff came out about the way they treated their group book and how the hosts didn't read it, and then they joked about the fact that the author is a person of color. My channel just doesn't stand for that. I don't stand for that, so I'm not going to be uploading my reading rush vlog. I already didn't have a whole lot of footage. I don't want to actively support something and upload something in regards to this readathon that is just plain offensive. But this readathon, the 90s pop culture one, has been so much fun. I'm definitely looking forward to the next round. Like, I love these month-long readathons with like the bingo board. Like, it's so much fun. I've read so many books this month because of this readathon in particular, and I have a massive wrap-up I need to do, but I'm hoping I can finish Alex Approximately and call this readathon a success. But yeah, that is it kind of for this update. Hopefully the next time I'll update you, I will either be further into Alex Approximately or I will be done with it. Ooh, just kidding. I'll probably just be further into it. Alright, so I'm currently uploading my book haul, so by the time you see this video, obviously that's out if you want to check that out if you haven't already. But I just want to say, content warning for PTSD. I was not expecting that. I don't know why this doesn't come with a content warning, because it kind of should. That's my 2 cents. Right now, how I feel about this is honestly, I'm just reading it at the wrong time. I'm not really in the mood for it. I don't really like the cast of characters. Like, I'm not feeling it. Yeah, that's how I feel about it, and I just wanted to put that out there, that there should be a huge content warning for PTSD that this book, for some reason, does not come with. You know what? Honestly, I'm not really feeling this book. I'm gonna skim some more of it. At this point, I kind of want to DNF it. I'll skim some more of it tonight, and then in the morning, I will ultimately decide whether or not I'll DNF it. Well, today, the day I'm filming this, is July 31st. I finished Alex approximately on the 30th. I finished it like right after I filmed my last clip. Now, I tried so hard to like this book, especially in the first half, because honestly, with the first half of the book, it was just a matter of me not really being in the mood for it, and also me not really getting attached to the characters. But the first half of the book, there wasn't anything wrong with it. I don't really have any complaints. It's just a matter of it wasn't for me at this time, if that makes any sense. But then halfway through, it gets so inexplicably violent for no reason. I'm not even kidding. First of all, we have a huge PTSD trigger warning that I have never heard anyone talk about, and it needs it. Y'all, this is why we need content warnings. It's for books like this that look all happy and summery on the outside, but on the inside, they're stupidly violent. So I want to give a content warning for PTSD. I want to give a content warning for gun violence, because there's gun violence in this, okay? You wouldn't expect it, right? You know, she's sitting in a pool eating ice cream. I also want to give a trigger warning for violence in general, because there's a lot of fighting in this book, and not because they're like WWE characters, but because I don't even know why. They just literally physically fight each other all the time, and I'm like, what is going on? There wasn't anything wrong with the first half of the book. That was really just me not really feeling it. Honestly, I would not recommend this to literally anybody unless you're in the mood for literally like a mafioso thriller. Not even. So the other thing was, I ended up having to skim the last like 250 pages of this book, because after I read like this hugely triggering PTSD panic attack, I literally had enough, and I was about to DNF it then, but honestly, I knew I had to finish it for this readathon. I was in it for the readathon, okay? So I skimmed it. You can define that as reading, but I marked it as read on both Goodreads and Book Sloth, so there you go. I skimmed the last half of it, and it was so weird, and it just got more violent, and I have no words. I don't know why this book even exists. It makes me question how much this community values trigger warnings, you know? But honestly, I gave it 2 stars only because the first half of the book was fine. I just felt detached from the story and the characters. It kind of gave me vibes of the Sarah Dessen book, what's it called, with the wedding, Once and For All. It gives off those vibes. That book is just not violent. This book is so violent. I can't even tell you how violent it is. I'm very happy with how much I read during this readathon. I read 4 vastly different books with different page counts. Like Winter was like 800 pages. Alex approximately was 400. Wicked King was like 350. And of course, Paper Girls was like under 100. The fact I read all these different books in completely different genres about different things, I'm very excited for the next round. I hope that they announce it later this year. I don't know if they will, but the next time they do another round of this, I am 100% participating in it. I had a blast participating in this round, and I can't wait for more. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I post videos on Thursdays, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!